If you have two solar panels, you can wire them in one of two ways, series or parallel. Both configurations combine the power of the two panels, but while series doubles the voltage, parallel doubles the current. Now, if you have more panels, say 8 for example, you can mix both into what's called a series parallel configuration, where the number of panels per string controls your voltage and the number of strings controls your current. And that's not a minor technical detail, because if you configure your panels the wrong way, you may end up with a more expensive system, you may be limiting how much power your system produces, or worse, you can even damage the equipment your solar panels are connected to or the panels themselves. So in this video I'll break down how each configuration works, how to decide which one is right for your setup, and how the actual wiring is done. Let's get into it. Each solar panel has two wires coming out of it with MC4 connectors at the ends, a positive and a negative. Polarity is usually marked with plus and minus signs at the junction box, at the connectors themselves, or both. And as a general rule, the male MC4 connector is your positive and the female is your negative. To wire panels in series, you connect the positive of one panel to the negative of the next and repeat down the line. This creates a string where the open negative at one end and the open positive at the other become your main negative and main positive. Making the connection itself is straightforward, you just push the two MC4 connectors together until they click into place. For parallel, instead of daisy chaining panels, you're grouping all the positives together and all the negatives together. In smaller systems, this is done using MC4 branch connectors. For example, these 2-to-1 branch connectors connect two panels together in parallel. And then there's the combination of both, series parallel. You first build strings with the same number of panels in each string, then connect those strings in parallel. For example, these panels are wired in a 2S2P configuration, two strings in parallel with two panels in each string. A larger system example would be these panels, wired in a 4S3P configuration, three strings in parallel with four panels in each string. However, in larger systems, the physical wiring looks a bit different. There are additional safety components involved that kind of change how everything comes together. I'll get back to that later in the video, but first let's talk about what these configurations actually mean for your system technically, because that's what determines which one you should be using. To understand the difference between wiring solar panels in series or parallel, let's start with a single panel and look at its electrical specifications. What we care about right now are these 5 ratings. We'll also need this one later, but I'll get to that in a minute. These two right here, the optimum operating voltage and current, VMP and IMP, represent the voltage and current the panel needs to operate at in order to produce this. It's rated wattage, hence the optimum operating part of the rating. It's kind of like the sweet spot, if you will. And the relationship between them is simple. Watts equals volts times amps. Now, as long as you have identical solar panels, whether you wire them in series, parallel, or a combination of both, the total power of your system will always equal the wattage of a single panel times the number of panels. That part doesn't change. What changes, however, is the voltage and current. When you wire panels in series, current stays the same, voltages add up. Wire in parallel, voltage stays the same, currents add up. And in a series parallel configuration, you get both the voltage of your series strings and the summed current of all those strings combined. For example, say we have 4 of these panels. In series, the voltage quadruples, but the current stays the same. In parallel, the current quadruples, but the voltage stays the same. In series parallel, both the voltage and current double, and in all 3 cases, the total rated wattage is identical, 4 times the wattage of a single panel. So if the wattage stays the same, what's the big deal, right? Here's the thing, when you're sizing your system's components, the wiring, the fuses, the charge controller, wattage isn't what matters the most. What actually determines whether your equipment can handle your array or whether it will get damaged is voltage and current. But not these ones, not VMP and IMP. The ones that matter for equipment sizing are these two. The open circuit voltage or VOC, which is the maximum voltage your panel can produce, and the short circuit current or IC, the maximum current it can produce. These ratings are what you need to use to design your system. But here's what most people don't account for. Neither of those is actually the worst case. Let me explain. For voltage, cold temperatures push the VOC even higher. Panels are rated at 25 degrees Celsius or 77 degrees Fahrenheit. So on a cold winter morning with clear sky conditions, for example, that number can increase significantly beyond the nameplate spec. And for current, a higher irradiance than the 1000 watts per square meter that the panel is rated at can push the short circuit current above its rated value too. So when you're calculating the actual limits of your system, you should take your VOC, apply one of these cold temperature correction factors, then multiply by the number of panels in series to get your maximum system voltage. For current, you should take your ISC, apply the over irradiance correction factor of 1.25, then multiply by the number of parallel strings to get your maximum system current. For example, let's say you live in an area where the coldest temperature that your solar panels might get exposed to during daytime is minus 10 degrees Celsius or 14 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature correction factor for that is 1.14. Going back to our example, here's the actual worst case voltage and current for each configuration. In a series configuration, the voltage could go up to 102.6 volts. In parallel, the current could go up to 28.75 amps, and in series parallel, the voltage and amps are somewhere in the middle. Okay, now that we understand the technical difference between series and parallel, which one is actually best for you? Well, you should consider a few things before you decide. First, let's start with cost. Wiring your solar panels in series typically costs less, and here's why. Wires are sized based on the amount of current they're supposed to carry. Since a series configuration can deliver the same amount of power at a lower current, this means you can use thinner and less expensive wires. This is especially true if you have long wire runs from your panels to the rest of the equipment, where voltage drops are also taken into consideration and thicker wires have to be used. So for the same number of panels in your system, the more panels you have in series, the less the wiring is going to cost. Another thing that makes parallel a bit more expensive is overcurrent protection. Remember this rating? Well, if the maximum current that the array can produce exceeds this rating, you will need to add an overcurrent protection device to each string of the array. Otherwise, if a solar panel gets shorted, for example, its internal components can get damaged by all the current flooding back into it. Typically, if you have more than 2 strings in parallel, fuses or circuit breakers will need to be added. If you have a small system and are using MC4 branch connectors, you can use these inline MC4 fuses. But as we'll discuss later in the video, if you have a larger system, you should use fuse holders or circuit breakers placed in a combiner box. Now, cheaper wiring and fewer parts required, series is just better than, right? So should you connect all your panels in series? Well, depending on how many panels you have, that might be the case, but not always. First of all, the rest of your equipment, such as the solar charge controller or a power station for example, will have an input voltage rating that restricts how much voltage you can connect to it. Which means the more panels you have in series, the higher this input voltage rating needs to be, and consequently, the more expensive the component is going to be. As explained earlier, this is especially true if your panels are exposed to cold temperatures. So at a certain point, it becomes cheaper to configure your system in series parallel rather than just series. I have a video on sizing solar charge controllers where I provide examples exactly about that. I left a link to that in the description. Speaking of charge controllers, one more reason you may want to have fewer series connections is if you plan on using a PWM. Because when you're using this type of controller, you want your array's nominal voltage to match the battery's nominal voltage. Nominal voltage is the system voltage your setup is designed around, typically 12 volts, 24 volts, or 48 volts. Your battery bank has one and your array will have one based on how your panels are wired. If these nominal voltage don't match, you will end up losing a lot of power. You can fix this by increasing the number of batteries in series, and that's actually the best solution. But if you can't, you will need to reduce the number of panels in series. Now there's another situation where parallel connections make more sense, and that's when your panels aren't all facing the same direction or sitting at the same tilt angle. Here's why. Sunlight affects a panel's current output much more than it affects its voltage. So panels getting different amounts of sun will produce noticeably different currents, but their voltages will stay relatively close to each other. Why is this important? In a series string, the current is limited by the weakest panel in the string. So one underperforming panel drags the whole string down. In parallel, it's the opposite. Currents add up independently, so a lower producing panel doesn't hurt the production of the others. Since it's current that varies most with sunlight exposure, panels facing different directions or angles are better off wired in parallel. That being said, if your budget allows, the most optimal solution is a separate MPPT for each string. That way each string operates independently at its own peak. Now, shading is a somewhat similar situation, but it's a little bit more complicated. See, back in the day, it used to be that parallel wiring is just better for shading. But now, with bypass diodes being built into virtually every panel, and most modern systems using MPPTs, which can basically choose whether or not to activate these diodes to maximize output, it would be inaccurate to just say parallel is always better for shading. I'll be making a dedicated video on this topic soon, but for now, let's just say that shading is bad regardless of configuration. If you have a strong take on this, please let me know in the comments which one you think is better. I'm curious. One last thing before we move on. If your setup ends up having parallel connections, your equipment has limits on that side too. For example, as explained in my solar charge controller sizing video, charge controllers often specify a maximum input current that puts a limit on how many strings you can run in parallel. So when you're sizing your components, use the same method from earlier in the video to calculate your array's maximum current, and make sure everything downstream can handle it. Okay, so earlier I briefly explained how series and parallel wiring is done physically. But I left out a couple of details that I should explain now. One is that a string of series connected panels can easily exceed 50 volts, which is the threshold where electricity becomes genuinely dangerous. In fact, if you're dealing with anything more than 2 panels in series, you will need to take safety precautions. So before touching any connections, cover your panels to cut off production and use insulated gloves. 2, as mentioned earlier, when dealing with larger systems, it's not recommended to use MC4 branch connectors for parallel connections. They may be the simplest and most convenient solution, but they are not a reliable one for anything beyond a small setup. So for safety, a combiner box is the right approach. You can buy a ready-made one or build a DIY version using an enclosure, bus bars, and DIN rails. Either way, it gives you a clean and safe place to house your string fuses or breakers if required, your PV disconnect, and your surge protector. That's it for this video. If you found it helpful, hit the like button and subscribe so you can get notified when I post more videos like this. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section and I'd be happy to answer them for you. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.